G'day everyone, my name's Ben and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to talk about the Optima Yellowtop battery. Unfortunately for my Subaru WRX STI, the original battery finally gave way this week for me, unfortunately. I think a bit of COVID-19, lack of use, and winter weather just really kind of was the final nail in the coffin for that battery. So thankfully though, it was the end of the financial year, so I picked up this Optima at an absolute steal from an Aussie reseller called Super Cheap Auto. Really good deal. I can't believe how cheap I got this battery for. But today I'm just going to do a quick little behind the scenes video of the install and also talk to you a little bit about why I think these Optima Yellowtops are great batteries. So this isn't my first Optima Yellowtop battery. I've had heaps of these on all my previous cars that have had their original batteries run out, and they're really great. Pretty much once I've upgraded to one of these, I've never had to buy another battery again for that car. They're way more powerful, they hold way more power, and they last a long bloody time. So in the past, especially when I was a bit younger, when I had big sound systems and things like that in my cars, I'm talking like dual subwoofers, dual audio amplifiers, big speakers, that type of thing. These batteries I've had have lasted for ages. What kind of sealed the deal for me is I was in my previous WRX with a big sound system and went to the drive-in cinema and saw some stupidly long movie that went for like 2.5, 3 hours or something like that. And I watched the entire movie listening to the movie through the car stereo system, just on accessories, and the battery was able to power that for the entire 3 hours with no issues with me turning the car back on at the end of the movie. It's a little bit scary when I did it, but that was a really great test of how good these batteries are, and I've been loyal to them ever since. Now these Optima batteries, they're not your normal type of battery. They're not powered by liquids and things like that, so they don't really spill. You can mount them upside down and things like that. Not that I've ever tried that, but yeah, they're a different kind of technology, which is often referred to as a dry cell technology. And generally what that means is they hold a lot more power and they last a lot longer. And obviously that comes with a cost. But in my opinion, that peace of mind of having a big battery is certainly worth it. So this battery is the D35 battery. And that's a smaller battery compared to their D34, which at least here in Australia, I believe is the most popular size. The D34 is what I have fitted to all my other cars in the past. And for my WRX STI, I was trying to keep the weight down just a little bit, so I thought I would actually fit the smaller size, which is actually the battery that they recommend fitting on Optima's website to a Subaru WRX STI. Not that I ever knew that. I've never had trouble fitting the larger batteries to my previous cars, but I just thought I'd check, and that was interesting to see. So the D34 is probably like double the power capacity of the original Panasonic battery here, and I'm pretty happy with that. The great thing about these batteries is they generally, while they offer you a lot more power and long-lasting life, they come in a smaller package. So this battery is a lot smaller than the original battery. So when I was doing the install process, I pulled out the Optima and the Panasonic battery and weighed them both on my scales just to compare the weight difference. And it turned out the Optima was about 4 kilos heavier than the original Panasonic battery while being like 30% less in size. So you do need to remember with Optima batteries, they do add weight to your car. So if you're building like a track car or something like that, or you really do care about performance to that level, maybe Optima batteries aren't the ones for you. But if this is your daily drive and you want that reliability and confidence of having a battery and electricity in your car in every situation, I really do think Optimas are a really good investment for your car. Also, if you have found this video helpful, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. It is greatly appreciated, and make sure you check out the written description and the comments below for any extra information, because I had put some more details there for you too. So the Optima battery really is a bit of overkill for what my car currently is. I don't have big sound systems or anything like that in the car. It's all stock standard. So I am putting a much more powerful battery in, and I'm not really needing that much, but the peace of mind is good for me. The Optima batteries you can run so much more from. So if you're thinking of doing sound systems or building extra, technical components in the car, they really are a good investment. And in the four-wheel driving communities as well, they are really, really valued. But first of all, guys, we'll kick off the unboxing video of the Optima because it's a little bit of fun. So why don't you go check that out? Yeah, it's a battery. What did you expect? There's not really an unboxing video. So without a doubt, let's kick off the install video now. I will apologize, my microphone on my camera was not with me when I did this video, so the audio quality is down just a little bit, but hopefully you get some value out of this and learn about how to install a battery in your Subaru. Definitely, if you have a Subaru, make sure you watch the end to learn what to do once you disconnect a battery, because you'll need to reset all the windows to get it to work. this is the original battery here. I actually can't see a brand name or anything on it at all, but yeah, she's running out of steam, so we're gonna replace this guy for the yellow top. So let's get started. And yeah, it's simple. We've just got our battery holder and our terminals to remove. It shouldn't take long at all. Now I've got a trusty 10mm ratchet spanner here, of course. It's always 10mm, which we'll be using to undo our posts and our terminals. Pretty easy. One tool. Alright, we've got a pretty gross dirty battery tray, so I might just give that a quick wash before we put everything back in. There we go, tray is nice and clean. And now we might actually clean down in here too before we fill it all back up. Let's remove our handle. These removable handles are very helpful for if you ever need to get this out of your car or move it, so I would recommend keeping it. Do yourself a favour. Alright, we are done, but the OEM Subaru battery tie down is obviously really not great for this small size battery. I've got this side tied down pretty bloody tight to hold it in. As you can see, it's kind of on an angle, and obviously there's a lot of empty space between the locking bracket here. You can kind of see it just sitting just there. Yeah, the tie down rod on this side, I've had to adjust this down to its lowest possible point. So I can't take that down any further, and there's still a real little bit of play in here. So probably the next thing I'm going to need to buy is a proper battery bracket here and some new tie-down rods that are made for OEM small batteries, because this guy is just a little bit too small. Alright, so we've got the battery fitted, so now let's jump back in the REX and turn it on. Alright, if you're in a Subaru, you've probably noticed at this point, if you've changed a battery, that while your window works on the door you're sitting in, if you press any of the other window switches, nothing happens. It's pretty scary the first time you notice this, but you do need to go through a reset process. And unfortunately that means you have to get out of the car and go around to all the other doors. So let's do that. Alright, so we need to reset these switches so they work with the driver's door. So to do that, we have to go to each individual door and we hold this down for 5 seconds. And then we hold it up for 5 seconds. Now this should fix it for the driver's side. There we go. Now we need to do the same for these two doors. Alright, that should have done it for all the doors. Let's check. Alright, let's just check all these work. Driver's side. Yep. Passenger front. Passenger rear. And driver's rear. Sweet, that's just a top tip if you have a Subaru. Alright guys, I hope you found that video quite helpful. Overall, the install process for a battery is super easy and you really only need a 10mm spanner and a 10mm socket just to get the whole job done. The only problem I hit was, as I mentioned, that those battery clamp rods or bolts were a little bit too long for what I needed, considering I was downsizing that battery. So I'm going to have to look into a better solution to hold that down after this, but for the time being, I have found a way to kind of get that battery held down nice and tight by over tightening one side. So I'm not too stressed about it, but I'll certainly need to look into that soon. So if you do own a modern Subaru, just remember that little hack I showed you to reset the windows. You will need to do it if you do disconnect your battery in any way, shape or form. So I hope you found that helpful. Anyway guys, once again, if you'd like to say thanks, please like and subscribe to the channel, and I think it's time to wrap this one up. So if you have any questions on the Optima battery, I'm happy to answer them. And otherwise, I hope you found this video helpful in one way or another, and we'll see you around for the next one. Cheers.